Hello and welcome to the Stronghold Digital Mining Daily Update. Today is Thursday, December 21st, 2023. I'm going to tell you something about Marathon Digital Holdings. And you may be saying, wait a minute, Stephen, have you gone to the dark side? Why are you talking about Marathon? By the way, not that any company's on the dark side, okay? This is a very, very focused broadcast. We generally only talk about Stronghold Digital Mining. But as you'll see in a moment, my reference to Marathon is directly correlatable, if that's the right way to say it, to Stronghold Digital Mining, or at least I think it is. So here's the press release. Marathon Digital Holdings enters definitive agreement to acquire multiple Bitcoin mining sites for $179 million. There's that darn automated cat feeder again. It never fails. Okay, so let's kind of put this into greater context. So here goes. Generate, this is the company, right, that Marathon is acquiring these facilities from. Generate will transfer ownership of the data centers in Texas and Nebraska, both of which have third-party operators, to Marathon in exchange for $178.6 million, or about $458,000 per megawatt. All right, so Stronghold Digital Mining has two data centers, one in western Pennsylvania, right, at Scrubgrass, and one in eastern Pennsylvania at Panther Creek. Both data centers have a managed services agreement with a third-party company called Frontier Mining. So there are already some similarities from my perspective with regard to what Marathon Digital is acquiring, right? Now, in the case of Scrubgrass and in the case of Panther Creek, to keep the math easy and not get into the weeds, let's assume both of those data centers are about 65 megawatts, or cumulatively 130 megawatts. Okay, so when we apply the $458,000 per megawatt valuation, and this isn't a hypothetical valuation, this isn't a ChatGPT generated estimate of what a data center megawatt would be worth. This is directly relatable to a deal that was announced about 2 days ago. This is as fresh and as relevant, in my opinion, as it gets. So when we basically multiply the 130 megawatts of Bitcoin data center infrastructure that Stronghold Digital Mining owns, and we apply that $458,000 per megawatt valuation to those megawatts, we get $59.5 million. Almost $60 million. By the way, Stronghold Digital Mining has an additional 25 megawatts of end-to-end Bitcoin data center infrastructure that's not plugged in. It's just in storage. Okay, let's ignore that for a moment. Okay, that's about $11 million worth of Bitcoin mining data center infrastructure if we apply the same $458,000 metric that we just applied a moment ago to our existing data centers. Okay, with me so far? All right. So about $60 million worth of data center infrastructure using the valuation metric that was, literally just paid by Marathon for these assets that were announced in the press release. So I took a look at Yahoo Finance. Yahoo Finance is relied upon by like tens of millions of people for investment information. Even though at the time I did this, Stronghold Digital Mining was up almost 8% for the day, right? The market cap, according to Yahoo Finance, $58.2 million. $58.2 million for a company that we just concluded probably has data center infrastructure worth about $60 million. Okay? Now, even if you were to say, well, Stephen, actually, if you read the fine print, the megawatts that Marathon are purchasing, right? They're better, they're different, they're superior. Hey, those Pennsylvania megawatts, not worth as much. Okay, whatever that's supposed to mean. I mean, electricity is electricity, as far as I can tell, right? Especially as it relates to these data centers. But okay, even assuming, okay, fine, they're getting something that's better. I mean, can we both agree that if we're not worth 60 million insofar as like our data center infrastructure, we're worth at least half of that, maybe 30 million. And again, what's the market cap? Like 58.2 million? So from my perspective, all right, and by the way, we're not even counting the 25 megawatts of an data center infrastructure that's in storage, all right? We're just ignoring that. And we're not even counting the Bitcoin mining machines that are inside these data centers, 75% of which are owned directly by Stronghold Digital Mining. The other 25% are hosted. Even ignoring all of that, just ignore every other asset this company has for a moment, all right? We've got arguably a stock that is laughably undervalued, a company whose market cap is just a complete joke. So again, even if you want to take a very, very hardcore negative view where you're like, yeah, man, but what Marathon's buying is superior. There's no way that the megawatts in Nebraska and Texas, those are superior megawatts. Pennsylvania megawatts suck. Okay, so be it. They suck, but I mean, they can't suck. Why? All right, so let's take half. Instead of 60 million, it's 30 million. I mean, it's still, do the math yourself. I mean, it's insane. Like, our market cap is utterly insane. Now, a question came up the other day, man, how about the debt, like the long-term debt? All right, dude, we could pay off that debt. I mean, imagine if you were to just sell the data centers. That more than pays off the debt. And you still have this carbon capture initiative that's in its infancy that is likely to be even more potentially lucrative than Bitcoin mining. And that's more sustainable and long-term as well. You don't have to reinvest in new carboliths, every couple of years because all of a sudden there's been a halving or, the machines themselves are somehow like technologically antiquated. Look at the technology. It's some of the most low technology risk stuff on the market. So I think there's tremendous upside for shares of Stronghold Digital Mining. Just my opinion, but my opinion is not simply me sitting here and inventing stuff or being creative and writing a short story and, trying to pass off just gibberish as some sort of meaningful commentary. I'm basing this off of like an actual transaction that just took place. What's the date on this thing? December 19th, 2023, 8 o'clock in the morning. Is that recent enough? I mean, how much more recent does it need to be? So, $458,000 per megawatt. Again, even if you assume Pennsylvania megawatts are worth less, fine. How much lesser can they be? As far as I know, electricity is electricity. I don't know that there's any Bitcoin mining machine that says, hey, if you plug this in and you're getting Pennsylvania electricity, expect the machine to not work. Right? It's ridiculous. So, with all of that said, we're not just staying positive because we're trying to be positive. We're staying positive because of the reality of what we see in the marketplace. We're not simply saying, hey, let's be great for the sake of trying to be great. We're trying to be great because we want to be an excellent company, right? Remember, you never know. What if Stronghold Digital Mining becomes an acquisition target? It pays to be great. And as always, we will see each other again tomorrow. And I'm cautiously optimistic that perhaps one of these days, as I'm sure you are as well, our stock price, our company valuation will resemble something more akin to the reality of what we know this company is truly worth. It's insane, isn't it? Okay, I'll see you soon.